Hey guys, I'm Corey.
I'm Bella.
Welcome to Mid Iowa Photo.
Welcome.
Yep. Um, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. On our content, we know we're developing it. We're working on it. So please take the time to leave a comment. Give us your feedback. We'd greatly appreciate it. Even if it's corrective criticism, that's great. Just try to be somewhat civil so I
I
don't have
have a
to.
band director that doesn't care. I can take it.
Okay. Today, what I wanted to talk about is cameras and photography in 2020. As everyone knows, the entire photography community as a business model has changed, and a lot of folks have lost a lot of jobs, weddings being canceled, um, events and stuff like that, where people were going out and being able to make money with their business. A lot of those things were just yanked away from them. So, starting a photography style business or revamping it in 2020, I want to go over that and let people know how we're doing that and what we're focusing on and behind the scenes of it. But today, I want to talk about the almighty cell phone versus a more commercial grade or professional grade camera, what most people, would like to think has to be there for a professional business. So
I was just seeing if there's a card in it.
there is a card in it.
There's
There's
100
pictures of it. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyways, I want to pose the question to you.
Me,
Yes.
the almighty knowing 14-year-old.
Yeah. If I asked you to go grab a picture right now, and we did this in a previous video,
Yeah.
to share on Facebook, which phone or which camera are you grabbing to use?
My phone.
Okay, why your phone?
Because instead of having to take out a card out of this, plug it into the computer, upload it to the computer, then send it to whatever device has my Facebook on, I can just take with my phone, because that's what my Facebook's on. I can take a photo, hit the share, and then post it and then type on it.
Just an FYI, this is a 13-year-old camera that doesn't have Bluetooth or Wi-Fi to do a file transfer directly to the computer. So
Yeah,
it's not as long for some as that, but you get the point. You have to get it off the camera to whatever device you have your Facebook or something on. It's an extra step. Two is cell phones take really fantastic pictures these days. I mean, girls have these Pixel 4As. It's a $350 cell phone that takes darn good pictures.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know a lot of people that are doing, starting off in street photography where the whole objective is to just use your cell phone. And there's some people getting some amazing, amazing photos out there with just a cell phone. So, why use a DSLR or a more what's considered professional grade camera? What's the perspective of, since this is so easy, so convenient, it's right there. Why do you think that we need a DSLR or a mirrorless camera or professional grade camera?
One, there's a lot of buttons, so you can change stuff more. Instead of with the phone, there's like portrait, photo, night sight, video.
Okay. So
That's it.
when you go to change stuff, why are you changing things? What's the objective there?
To get a better photo.
To get a better photo. I think I would like to step it a little farther than just a better photo. I think is because you can create the image you want. A camera, in a sense, just freezes time. Should have put that on silent. That's annoying as can be. But it just freezes time. It just collects light. I think with all of those settings, it gives you the ability to create the vision that you have. Have you seen like some of the street photography of black and white where you have this great scenic background and there's a person walking, but you can see they're blurred. You can see how they're
Moving.
walking. You can see the movement in the frame.
I got a photo like that with at a soccer game.
Right?
Or similar, because the ball, you can see it's moving, but everything else is still.
Right? So right there, that creativeness of being able to change your shutter speed and focus on being able to freeze, you know, or having some of the image sharp, but the things in motion, that shutter speed just slow enough to where you can see that motion. Gives that essence of speed, that movement. You'll see it in like some race car photography and things like that, where you don't want it perfectly sharp on everything. There's a skill level to it. So I think as these are great, realistically, the camera, as in like this, gives you so much more ability to paint your picture. I always like to say you're painting with light. That's because all it's doing is collecting light. Being able to focus on how it collects that light and how you develop that whole image is up to you. You're being
I'm so energetic.
yeah.
I need more of my tea out of my chipmunk cup.
So, Bella,
Mm-hmm.
what are your thoughts on being able to do that though with the camera? I mean,
Well, I think the reason why you can get a more movement and blurred photo out of this one is it takes a bit longer to take the photo. But with this one, it takes the photo very, very quick so that it stops everything immediately.
right?
With this, you can get a blurred photo, like with the soccer ball moving, because I took that with this photo.
Right? And that's just one aspect of it though. That's just the one limitation, or one, I shouldn't say limitation, that's just one aspect, because with this kind of camera, you can adjust, you know, how much of the brightness you're catching and how much of the darkness you're catching. Same as when we discussed a little bit on black and white photography, the contrast of things is something that you can adjust here. On if there's shadows, you can adjust that to where those are completely black and gone. Or if the highlights are blowing out the camera, you can adjust those shutter speeds and stuff and aperture to be able to get more of that
No.
vision that you want to get.
When you get a black and white photo, does it damage? I mean, a blown out photo, does it damage the camera?
Theoretically, anything looking directly into the sun would, but to the point of actually damaging it, it's very unlikely in the time that you would be shooting it, because I'm guessing you're thinking something like a magnifying glass and burning things on the
Well,
ground.
just in case someone that's watching this doesn't understand, if a blown out photo blows up the camera.
The same as your computer screen, why you have a screensaver, is because those lights emitting in one spot will burn into the screen. You'll see that ghosting there when you black it out. A similar thing can happen with the pixels that are collecting the light, is it can adversely affect them by being under direct light. Sunlight's very, very damaging. But for that to damage that, you would have to be trying to take like pictures of the sun for a day straight, or some large amount, because there are anti-glare elements on a lot of these lenses, anti-glare coatings, things to help reduce that UV shine through. I'm not smart enough with all the big fancy words. Some of them are 3 syllables, and you know, I can't.
We no comprehendo.
No, I comprehend, but I don't think my comprehension would be a good explanation. So in short, yes, there.
What?
No,
Yeah?
hush. I'm not smart at all. Still, again, should have muted that thing.
Well, it's not my phone, because I'm pretty sure when it's taking a video, it mutes the sounds.
Yeah, well,
What do you do with that?
see if we can get it to silence itself.
So, the creativity is one of the things that I think really stands out. Yes, you can go to Instagram and put a filter on stuff. You can go into, some software that they have for these, which I think is another area we need to talk about, something like Snapseed.
Yes, I have that on my phone. I bet it is some really cute black and white photos of my baby.
Which, by having that, gives you that ability to take a picture and then edit it afterwards, trying to get that image that you want to get, where you can get closer straight out of the camera, but still very possible. And it's convenient.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how long does it take to take a picture, go into Snapseed, do your adjustments, and you can share it directly out of there to where you want to be?
Well, depending on how many adjustments you do, up to like 2 minutes, maybe 5 if you're doing a lot of adjustments.
I think photography is needing to make I shouldn't say photography, I think camera manufacturers really need to make a huge jump, and it's not a stepping stone. They need to jump past a few parts, and their software they have in here, why are they not contacting Android and partnering up and running something where you have that kind of power at your fingertips in the camera itself?
They could make millions. We should contact them.
We should contact them.
Don't y'all steal our dad's idea?
But I mean, think about it. Why wouldn't they?
Amazing. They'd make millions.
Tell them, maybe what?
They'd make so much money. It'd be so much easier because this is an older camera, so we have to take out the flash card. It's a flash card, right?
Compact flash, yeah.
Compact flash card, the card that holds all the photos. But instead, you'd have like this, where you could literally just hit share and share it directly onto the app or website or Snapseed or editing app or whatever.
Right. So if you have the editing ability there, now granted, this isn't for, I don't think, a wedding photographer, because, you need the computing power to edit, 10, 15, 30, 100 images at a time. But I think for the average person or the enthusiast or the, slower motion portrait sessions and things like that, being able to have that ability right there on site, without having to drag out a computer, without having to, drag out a iPad or whatever else you're trying to use to edit with, doing that right on the camera, I think is where, if I was involved in a camera manufacturer, that would be one area I would be pushing very, very hard, is this intuitiveness that everybody has, pretty much, and knows how to function and knows how to manage and everything. And you put this touchscreen on the back of this camera, it's already small enough. I mean, we're already there. I think it would be fantastic.
Or just make a camera that you can attach stuff to. I'm pretty sure Moto made something like that. They had a phone where you could attach stuff to it.
Yeah.
Where you could project movies and take photos and stuff.
Right.
But they should do that specifically with like something like this, but make it just a camera. Only a camera.
Right.
This size, but only a camera.
And
be able to attach lenses and stuff.
And I think that goes right back to the start where we talked about creativity on this giving you that amount of creativity. Is some of that is in the lens itself. A lot of people will look at an image and really like it or really hate it and not fully understand why they do or they don't. But a picture taken with a 35 millimeter lens of a subject versus a picture taken of a person with a 200 millimeter lens gives a pretty big difference on how it separates that person in that picture. You could frame the person the same way and have, a 3/4 body shot or whatever, but shot with different cameras give a different, or different lenses gives a different look. So I think as a photographer or somebody wanting to create would need to still have this kind of a setup. But that extra convenience of being able to edit on and share directly out of and stuff would be great.
Fantastic. But if we worked hard enough, someone's made it or is trying to make it.
Well, I would hope people are trying to make it, but I don't know if they are yet. I don't know if it's a licensing thing where Google or whatever says, hey, no, we aren't going to do that, or we want 50% of all profit margins from here on out because it's our software, our our technology.
I mean, I understand where they're coming from. They want 50% of the profit margins. I mean, they've already done the work with the camera, but then they'd have to pay someone else to put it in here.
Right.
And
some of these are just apps. So, I mean, some of it is being able to develop, an app professionally to add to the phone or to the cameras. I don't know why they don't hire somebody who develops apps to be able to do some of that. Because, you look at some of these camera manufacturers' apps that they use to connect to the camera, and they're ridiculous. I mean, I was looking at some of the ratings of some on the Play Store, and 2.5 stars, and every review is terrible. 1-star review after 1-star review after, just because the app is horrendous. Why not make it? Why not hire a company to come in and actually, that's what they do. You develop cameras, you develop lenses, great. Let somebody develop your app. I mean, really, hand that off to somebody who knows what they're doing. I'm not going to name any brands because realistically, most of the brands are like that. It's, it's silly that they've always tried to keep too much in-house, I think, and letting themselves shine by hiring somebody who knows what they're doing.
No one would ask me to go build a house. No one would. No. It'd be a very bad house.
Right? Well,
I mean,
yeah.
Why would someone ask me to go build a house?
And I think that's getting a little deeper into some other business methods of, focusing on what you're great at and, being able to delegate out areas that you are not. That's a hard decision business-wise on, how to do stuff. But I want to hear what people have to say about the difference of a cell phone versus a professional grade camera. What makes you want to buy this right here
It looks professional.
over this? And it looks professional. And sometimes that's what it is. I've known a lot of times going out into public or whatever and being judged, I put the battery grip on this and I put our biggest lens on this and everything, and all of a sudden people's thought is I am a professional. Oh wow, look at that big old camera that he must know what he's doing. Luckily, I think I almost do know what I'm doing. One of these days I may get to that level of knowing something, but it's one of those things where we're judged that way. And I'm not saying that going out and getting a bigger camera and carrying around a big, 7200 millimeter lens all the time is going to get you more business. But I do know for a fact people look at you more as a professional with that.
A big camera.
You dress for success. That includes, everything else. I've shown up and done professional photo shoots with a phone.
I went to one of them. I helped with that.
Right. So, and the client was, I don't know, think they were satisfied?
They really liked him. I think they were a little off-put by you just showing up with a phone, but then once they started to see all the photos and how easy it was to just share it with them, they loved the photos.
So there's a fine line that if you think you have the skill set, or I shouldn't say it that way, that if you have the passion to become a photographer and all you have is your phone, you have a camera. Start taking pictures. It's not all about, motion blur or things like that. Being able to frame a scene and being able to take a picture of things that the content is the interesting point. Too many people, I think, focus on the very small details. Is the dynamic range good enough? Is it a full frame sensor? Is the depth of field shallow enough? Realistically, is your content amazing enough? Is, the way you frame the photo drawing to the actual subject? Not necessarily, hey, I shot it with a $10,000 camera and lens. It has to be amazing. Sure, there's some technical things that I'm sure are fantastic with something like that.
Do you know how to use that 10,000 camera and lens?
Right.
I can use this 8,000 camera and lens set. It is all 8,000. And I can take some pretty good photos. Maybe not as good if I used a very nice, expensive auto camera. This one has an autofocus, but some cameras have an auto everything.
Right. So, have anything else to put in on all that? Go out and buy a $10,000 camera?
No, go out and buy what you feel comfortable taking a photo with. I wouldn't buy a 10,000 camera to start with, because not many people know how to correctly hold a $10,000 camera. They could drop it.
Right.
Slip out of their hands, and then they have a 10,000 camera and pieces on
10,000 camera?
$10,000 $10,000 camera and pieces in a driveway.
Right.
That would be a very bad day. I'd say buy a $350 phone. A phone like this, and start taking photos with that. Family events, dog, pets, children, yourself.
So, with that now, taking pictures of yourself. Nobody
Well-
wants to see selfies. Will you do the duck clip thing?
No, that died in like 2016.
Oh, wow. So, anyways, give us your feedback. Let us know what you think.
Like, subscribe, share, comment.
Where else can they find you at?
We have a Patreon page. We have an Instagram page. I think all of them are under Mid-Iowa Photo.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have a Smugmug website, and then a website, and
How about you just throw some links below?
there'll be a nice long list of links that will be in the bottom. Each of them will have what it will take you to, or not. Might be just be roulette of links. That'd be fun.
Surprise!
Surprise! You're on the Instagram page, not the Patreon.
I was thinking about sending them to a polka page.
What's a polka page?
Polka? Polka music?
I knew the word. I just didn't know what went with.
Anyways,
Anyway,
see you later.
see you guys.